Yeah, how dare you?
Platinum icy bitch.
Charred coochie.
Of course. Who doesn't love boobs? Like, every gay person loves titties. Yeah.
That's a man! That's a man!
Welcome to Madam House podcast. This is episode 5. Episode 5.
Oh, I thought it was the grand finale.
I thought so too, but I guess we're still on episode 5. We have 30 more episodes to go, everyone. Today, I have the honor to introduce our guest for the show today. From cross-dressing to graphic designer to RuPaul Drag Race Season 3 to RuPaul Drag Race All-Stars 1 to RuPaul Drag Race All-Stars 4 to having her own drag queen competition TV show to now next to me in our building in this room in today's special episode. He is a son, a brother, an uncle, a husband. He's a glamorous international superstar and a good friend of mine. Introducing to y'all Miss Manila Luzon.
Yay!
Okay, I hope that you insert like a sound effect of a huge audience, like
Clapping.
Yeah, like stadium size. Just insert the.
We absolutely will.
Or maybe sleeping after that long introduction, girl.
Yeah, or just crickets. Like,
Maybe that would be the best one.
yeah, that's probably.
I love how it's our podcast too.
You know
It's revolving around pot, by the way. It's a podcast.
Yeah.
There are random like pots on the table here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, queens.
You're welcome.
We're very excited.
Yeah. I'm really excited because we just celebrated the I went to the party. We had a party in Mickey's in West Hollywood, and we celebrated the podcast finally being out. But I suppose like now it's like old news because like several
that was like a few months ago.
We're famous now, by the way.
That's famous. We're full on famous.
Now we're celebrating something else. We're celebrating your new show on
No, baby, that came out weeks ago.
Yeah.
But we always celebrate that.
We're
Honey.
last
celebrating
week.
in perpetuity.
Yeah, I don't know when this podcast comes out. We'll probably be several episodes into my show.
Yes.
Drag Den on Prime Video. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what episode is out of Drag Den versus which episode is out of Madam House podcast.
The competition.
The competition is really like
T queens versus drag queens and trans queens.
Yes.
So, Manila, when was the first time that you dressed up?
Ooh, well, I don't know. Like my official first time that when I first started like getting dressed up and like called it like drag officially is very cloudy because like I would like do you count the Halloweens when you would like throw on the little plastic wig and
Absolutely.
yeah?
You count that,
Oh,
and
yeah.
maybe even
Okay.
like think back to when you were really young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could count when you were little. So when was like the first time that you wanted to dress like a girl?
I always liked dressing up. Like I remember even as a kid I wanted to make costumes for myself, and I remember one day I was like, I'm gonna be a bumblebee. And I'm like sitting here in my underwear and I like colored with a crayon like stripes on a piece of paper, and then I cut out the stripes of paper and then I taped it around my body like they were stripes of like a bumblebee.
I love that.
I think my first time was my grandma had like a little grandma wig. It was like a little brown shake and go bus driver wig.
Kind of like what Tina is wearing right now.
Yeah.
No, Tina's wearing a long, luxurious silver. Like she looks like she's from the House of the Dragon.
Ooh.
Yes.
She breathes fire.
She does breathe fire.
Was it like a wig that your grandma put on when she didn't want to do her hair?
I don't know, because I never ever remember my grandmother wearing a wig. But then again, it might have been like an old wig that she had from like maybe before because like it was like probably like in the 80s when I was like a little kid wearing my grandma's wig, and I thought it was so cool. She kind of just had it in this box with like funny hats like in her basement that like she let us kids like kind of like play with, you know, to like, you know, play make believe and whatever. So there was that wig, and I loved it.
Did she always have the same hairstyle? Because my grandma wore a wig, and I never knew until like one day I saw like the wig stand in her room, and like it was like a secret. It was like a secret that she always wore a wig, and she didn't want anyone else to know. But I think like my parents knew, or
You
my mom
snuck
knew.
up on grandma, and she turned around. She was bald with no teeth.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
So was it something like that?
No, because my grandmother, it was like a brown wig, and my grandmother, as long as I was knew, she had like gray hair, just like you, Tina.
Me.
Yes.
I told you.
Yes, you platinum icy bitch.
She stole my look.
No, so I guess it was probably like an old wig that she had when she still had, you know, like before her hair turned gray, and then she just was like, well, you know, he'd throw it in the bin full of like hats and play toys for the kids. That was my first time. I remember like putting on a wig and then like pretending I was my grandma because of my grandma's wig. So I was like pretending to knit a scarf because that's what my grandma did. So I think that's like the first time. I don't even know how old I was, but probably old enough to know that I wasn't supposed to be dressing up as a girl.
Yeah. Did that become a thing over and over?
Yes, I remember like one time like wanting to tell my mom I like wanted to, for Halloween, I wanted to be a girl, but I worded it like, Mom, I want to be you for Halloween. And my mom, she was a chemist, so she thought I wanted to be a chemist. So she got me like a lab coat and like safety goggles.
Oh no.
And I was more like, actually I want to wear like a wig and be a woman. Like I didn't know how to say it as like a kid, so I kind of, I guess, had to spend that Halloween dressed like a chemist.
Was your mom fashionable? Was your mom into fashion?
Yeah, my mom has always been into fashion. Yeah, she loves picking out her outfits. Like to this day, she whenever she goes like on vacation, and she'll plan it months in advance. Like she'll have all of her outfits picked out, and she'll spend like the months leading up to her vacation like coordinating and curating her wardrobe for the vacation.
It sounds like somebody I know.
It sounds just like me.
I was going to say, does Manila do that too?
So yeah, it does. Well, I don't spend months like my mother does. And my mother she's a very scientific and analytic. So she like actually will put all of her outfits into an Excel spreadsheet.
I love that.
When she dies, I think I probably can open up like her files on the cloud somewhere and probably find out like what exact outfit she wore in like 2007 on her trip to Croatia. I don't know.
Amazing.
Like, wow, she was serving that year.
Yeah, she was.
When did you first start sketching out like drawings of some of the outfits that you would make?
Well, funnily enough, like that was because of my mother, like, you know, putting these Excel spreadsheets together when I was a kid. I kind of did my version of it when I was a kid, when we would go on like vacations, and I would be trying to like pack, because my dad was like, you can only bring so much clothes, so you have to like, if you only bring a few pairs of pants and a few shirts and try to mix and match it to like whatever. So I remember as a kid like drawing little stick, like not stick figures, but like little basic drawings of my outfits for like, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like, okay, I'll wear the brown pants on Monday and then I'll also wear them again on Thursday, but with a different
combination.
Yeah, a different combination.
We just had garanimals. They matched it for you. You just pick the animal, the same animal, and then it matches your outfits for you. You didn't have garanimals growing up?
What is that?
No, I had my mother.
Yeah, you had your own version
Different
of the Excel
era.
spreadsheet.
Yeah. So that's when I started drawing like my outfits, and then of course, as a drag queen, I would sketch my my costume designs and whatever. But it actually started way before. Like when I was a kid, I had this spiral college ruled notebook that I would draw this lady and different outfits and different makeups and different hairstyles.
With your grandma's wig.
And well, maybe there was a time when I actually like would, because I would, every single page was another picture of the same woman, and she was hideous. And in my brain, like she was this old, decrepit woman who just had such like amazing transformative skills with makeup and wigs and wardrobe that she always looked young. But in reality, she had this like really long hooked nose, these really like beady, evil looking eyes, these high arched eyebrows, and like these little pouty lips, and these really sharp cheekbones and jawline. And looking back at it now, I'm like, oh, she definitely was a drag queen. Tea queen,
Tea queen girl. That sounds like a tea queen.
Yeah. For sure, but she definitely had implants. So like she had a big rack. I don't know. I was always obsessed with boobs. I still kind of am. I guess it's weird. For me, I think boobs are just really cool.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Who doesn't love boobs?
I love a good
every
rack.
gay person loves titties. Yeah,
it's so crazy. I mean, I don't think of them like sexually. I just think of them as just like beautiful things, accessories on the front of your body.
Do you like man
Mattress.
boobs? Do you like man boobs too?
I don't know. They don't have the same effect on me unless they're pushed up. Like lady
And have
boobs.
cleavage. Push them in, right?
Right?
yeah.
I know a lot of like drag queens with a little bit more meat on them, and they can use the push. I like being able to like push up my tits and like create a little cleavage. I always feel so sexy.
Yeah.
I do. I feel so sexy when I have like my boobs out. And then once I figured out how to contour and highlight, oh my gosh.
Game over.
Yeah.
So were you involved in drama or acting?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a drag queen, so dramatic. I love theater. No, I liked it because theater always has, like, you can pretend to be someone else. I love that, you know? And you can just, like, take on the role of someone else and whatever. And I also like being in front of people and, getting attention. So for sure. But, like, I'm half Filipino, so... I grew up in Minnesota, and so I had a very good understanding that I don't look like other people. And, like, I was never really cast as, like, the lead. Like, whenever it was, like, audition for, like, the High School Musical, like, they could recognize, they were like, okay, well, he was, like, the one of 4 guys that auditioned for the play, so he's getting a role.
To switch it up.
Yeah, he's not going to be he's not going to be the lead
Prince Charming.
And yeah, exactly, because he's a person of color, and we were growing up in all white like place, and most roles are like where Bye Bye Birdie doesn't have any people of color in the cast. So I was always like the father or the grandpa.
Oh my gosh.
Which was daddy.
And now you're the mom.
And now I'm the mother.
You're the sister.
The drag mother.
I was a daddy once when I was a twink.
So tell us about your Filipino background. Where does your family come from?
My mother is from Manila, so when I decided to name myself, when I was thinking about doing drag for the first time, I thought of Manila. I thought it was just a really like perfect name because it has the word man in it. Because I was trying to think of something like with a pun, but nothing was really coming to me. I was only like 20 years old, so I didn't really even know. I hadn't even been to a drag show. I just knew that I needed a drag name if I was going to do drag.
Yeah.
So I picked it Manila, and then I thought like naming after my mother's maiden name, but because a lot of people in the Philippines, because of they all have a lot of Spanish last names, and then I thought like, well, I don't want people thinking that I'm like Latina. Yeah. Because I wanted it to be about I wanted my name to be about the Philippines, and then I was like, I don't know what to name myself. But then I thought like, oh, if my name is a city, because I'm named after the city, the capital of the Philippines, and I was like, oh, it's a location, so like let's just kind of go with it. So Luzon is the island that Manila is on, because like the Philippines is like a bunch of islands. There's like thousands of them, but the biggest one is called Luzon, and that's where the Metro Manila is. So I was like, oh, okay, Manila, Luzon. That makes sense to me. Yeah. And it sounded fancy.
Yeah,
very fancy.
It's iconic now.
It is
Are you
beautiful.
kidding?
Yeah.
Do you had a name before Manila Luzon was created where you called something else?
Yes, I was Manila Luzon, and then they named the city after me and the island after me.
Oh,
No, you mean
your
you mean
power.
you mean like I had a different name?
yes, a different drag queen name.
No, actually I didn't. That
Before.
was my first name. I'm very proud that I picked a good one.
Yeah.
And I
You
stuck with it because I know a lot of drag queens who changed their names.
Yes, like
Like-
Tina.
That's embarrassing. Who would ever do that?
Tina, how many drag names have you had?
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't know.
Tuna
Like,
can, Tina
three.
can,
Cantina. Like every week is a new name.
It is
hot
a new
tuna
name.
Tina.
New name, new wig.
Yeah. Every time I get a new wig, I get
What
a
is
new
your name now?
Cantina, Tina Can, either or. I mean, whatever. They're both puns, kind of.
Right.
Like a cantina.
She's name fluid. You know,
Yeah.
she goes back and
Go
forth.
with the flow.
Yeah. You never
Tina
know.
Can, like tuna can.
Well, I got the name Tina when we were in New Orleans, and
Oh my gosh, that's right.
That's
I
Because
wore
you
true.
had that Tina
my
Turner
Tina Turner
wig.
wig.
Yeah.
And we were drunk and you were jumping into the pool, or you were threatening. You were like standing on this giant wall and you were so tall that we were all like in the pool. So like you were like even taller because like we were like, you know, our heads are at ground level.
Right.
Yeah.
In the pool.
We're in the underground pool and you were standing on this
Tall wall.
tall
10
wall,
feet tall wall.
dancing to Tina Turner in this Tina Turner wig.
Half of her booty out of the wall.
Yeah, I mean, we were having a great time. Well, that was in New Orleans,
fun.
right?
Yeah.
That was in New Orleans, yeah. And then the name Tina stuck.
It was the
calling
wig,
me
though.
Tina. It was.
Because
was
it
the
was
wig.
that like Tina Turner wig from the 80s that
Yeah.
that iconic like rock star Tina Turner hair that she used.
Those
to
are the
Right.
beginning stages of
Of
the Tea
Tina.
Queens.
That
I
was
mean,
the
you
beginning.
saw us from the very beginning. And actually, I know that we mentioned you as a friend, but you are like our queen mother.
Oh my God! I should have gotten my tubes tied and saved everyone.
We consider that we come from
This is why you should always wear protection.
we consider you our queen mother, and you helped with our makeup and inspired us from the get-go.
Yeah, I remember it was that one day in my apartment when we first went out all at once. That was
Yeah.
it. That was the birth.
That was the day.
That was the conception.
It's your fault.
Yeah, how dare you?
Yeah, for the listeners, like that was so fun. That was such a fun night.
And if you're questioning why Esmeralda's makeup was so white and her skin was so dark,
Oh, that was my fault. Oh, yeah, that's right, because I did your makeup. Yeah, I've always been bad at like matching my foundation color. Like
I don't think so.
I'm a little bit colorblind when it comes to the slight shifts in tone,
Right.
And things.
It's tricky.
I
Yeah.
thought you looked good though. The makeup
Me?
was
Yeah, I
phenomenal.
mean the makeup
yeah.
was good. It just
Oh,
was
amazing.
really. It just wasn't. It wasn't the right shade for the rest of her body. I mean,
And I oil my body after that and it made it even tanner.
yeah, that's what
That
it
what
was.
happened,
That's what it was.
yes.
Like, and then also like when you do a flash photo, like
It illuminates
powders
it all.
of the
Yeah.
of the makeup like illuminates a little bit brighter than just regular skin tone for sure.
On our night of birth, did you find out your name Esmeralda that night, or did you know before the night that?
I knew before, yes. Yeah. Because the concept that our friend had for this and the concept that he had for my look was very Latina and European, Jersey girl, very tan, green eyes, bronze. So that's why I needed a name that it was going to be in Spanish. And yeah.
Okay.
And Colombia is known for its emeralds too, so Esmeralda is perfect for Colombia.
Exactly.
Oh, Esmeralda means emerald?
Emerald, yeah. That's why I always wear, well, not always wear green, but yeah, emerald.
Yeah.
You were wearing purple the last time
I know,
saw
I'm
you.
sorry, girl.
Oh, purple.
It was
That's
green.
why I
You're
always-
colorblind.
Yeah,
Oh,
You're
I'm
definitely
I did just
colorblind.
admit that I was colorblind. Yeah, okay. You mean, wow.
And
that really-
actually, you guys asked me my name. I hadn't picked a name until the time that you asked
That's
me.
true.
And I was
Ow.
like, I had been thinking about names, but that's when I came out with my name, Sarah
and
Problem.
It was
Fair
a
problem.
genius name. I can't believe that, like, I had never run into that name before.
No.
I have traveled around the world and I've performed with so many drag queens and I have never run into a Sarah problem before.
Yeah.
And when you said your name was Sarah Problem, I started laughing so much because it is so funny.
It's so
Sarah
good.
Problem?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny. And then we were thinking of what if you were Latina, your name would be Teresa
Teresa
Oh,
Problem.
that's
Teresa
true.
Mhm.
There is a problem.
Teresa Problem.
All the kids. When I have kids, I'll name them after the
Or
problem family. My
or
problem
when
kids.
you dare to
The
put a black wig on,
Right?
that would be a Teresa problem night.
Ooh, okay.
Teresa Problem.
I can have a different name too.
Well, in that note, let's take a little quick break and we will be right back.
Serve responsibly. Don't drink and drive. Drink some water. After you buy all the vodka.
Order your Serve vodka now.
And we're back.
We're back, bitches.
Welcome back.
I think that's gonna be Tina's next name, Dora. Dora Tina.
Yeah.
Dora
Tina
Can.
Dora. Wait, Tina Dora. That's actually kind
Tina
of
Dora.
Tina
Yeah.
Dora.
Well, you've already recorded it so many times. Otherwise, it'd be embarrassing to change it now.
Yeah,
Or
true.
people are gonna have to tune in to the next episode to see what your new name is
My
gonna
next
be.
one is-
Right?
Oh my god.
I won't listen to that.
Oh,
I love the way you say Dora the Explorer, something like that.
Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, but they, you know,
Exploder.
they
the
made it so when you say it, it rhymes. Dora the Explorer.
Uh-huh.
So you just say Dora the Explorer. You don't say
Dora the Explorer.
Explorer. You don't define it. Dora the Explorer.
Well, in Spanish it's Dora the... No, it's something else, yeah.
It's just Dora.
I mean,
I don't
Heidi in Closet didn't change her name, and she was pressured by
By
RuPaul.
RuPaul herself. I watched a clip
really?
of that. It was so
Oh,
hilarious.
how did we-
Yeah, RuPaul
She was
did-
like explaining, you just it just doesn't roll off the tongue right. I'm just, like, oh,
RuPaul
wow.
was pressuring her, and then they were trying to come up with new names in the following episodes, and then finally Heidi's like,
No, I'm gonna keep my name, girl. Like,
Yeah.
hello, like
Yeah.
it's on the promos.
Yeah,
So
I did a
true.
promo shoot. I'm on Drag Race. I'm not changing my name now.
Yeah.
No, I think one of the things you have to think about if you want to be a drag queen is you have to think about your name.
Yeah.
Cause like, I don't know, like Esmeralda. Does Esmeralda have a last name?
Yeah, Esmeralda Vergara. And it comes from Colombia too.
Oh.
Like Sofia Vergara. Have you ever heard of her?
on Modern Family.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So,
You're kind of like her in some
Yeah.
ways.
yeah.
Yelling a lot.
Yeah. Jake.
Dramatic.
Jack. Wait, what's her husband's name?
Jake! Yay! Yay!
Mm-hmm. I have a lot of Jake.
But I think like, when you pick a drag name, it's you should also try Googling it and seeing if it works, because like
True.
when I first started and I would Google my name, Manila Luzon, it would show up.
Oh, God.
It would show up like.
The island.
Yeah,
The
it
news.
was like something like earthquake
Yeah.
in Manila Luzon,
Yeah.
12 people injured.
Oh, God. Well, that still shows up after you Google that too.
exactly, yeah.
10
Manila
people
Luzon,
injured.
Manila, 10 people injured from trying to listen to her music.
Talking about music, you just brought out a new single
Yeah.
called Drag Den.
Oh my gosh! Like, circling back to my TV show, let's like go full circle.
Let's do
Drag
it.
Den. Yeah.
Tell us about it.
When I made the show Drag Den, the producers were like, "We need a theme song, and you're gonna sing it." And I'm like, "Perfect, let's do this." So, but also like my management team out in the Philippines, they introduced me to the people at Warner Music out in the Philippines, and so Warner Music wanted to make a song, and so then we made a deal. We're like, okay, well, our first song will be the theme song for the show, and it'll be like a great way, because like every time people watch the show, they're gonna have to like listen to the song. So it's like you watch the show, you like the song, you like the song, you watch the show. So So yeah, I recorded it, and I recorded it while I wrote the song while I was in the Philippines. When I went to the Philippines last year to film the show, it was still like heavy COVID precautions and mandatory masks and whatever. So I had to like quarantine in a hotel for 6 days before I was able to be out and free in the world. So while I was in quarantine, that was kind of like my project, was to write the song. Yeah. So I met with the people in Zoom from Warner Music, and I met with producers and songwriters. And there was like, so I was in Manila at the time. The record label people were in Cebu, a different city in the Philippines. And then the songwriter and the producer was in Amsterdam. He was also Filipino, but he also lives in Amsterdam.
Okay.
Because like a lot of Filipinos, because it's like they're like small islands. So,
yeah,
you know, a lot of people leave. You know, like the biggest export of the Philippines is Filipinos. So it's kind of cool. So there's Filipinos all over the world. So Warner Music Philippines started Glow PM, which is global original Pinoy music. So like in the Philippines, they have like this thing like OPM, which stands for original Filipino or original Pinoy music. Pinoy means Filipino. And so then they did Warner wants to do like a global version and get a bunch of artists and songwriters and producers that are Filipino but also live other places. Because, you know, the Philippines, there's Filipinos everywhere. There's Filipinos in America, Canada.
Yeah.
I've met Filipinos in the UK, in Spain, in different countries in Asia. We're everywhere. So you know, it's kind of cool to like to think like, oh, it's more than just, you know, for the Philippines. It's at a global level. And so I think that because I am a international drag superstar, it just made sense for them to sign me as one of their artists. And so I started making music. So I did the Drag Den theme song, and I recorded another song called Colors, which is coming out very soon.
Yeah.
And and then they're even interested in doing a third song with me, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's do a whole album. Let's like, you know, go Beyonce and just drop a whole visual album, and while we're at it,
And it's all just clips of Drag Den.
yeah, maybe. Well, maybe the Tea Queens can come in. Yes, do a little. How are your dance skills? You can be my Harajuku girls.
We're Tea Queens for a reason. Yes. We're not beautiful enough to be trans, and we're also not talented enough to be drag queens. So we fall in the middle, called Tea Queens.
We barely know how to walk or speak English, so we'd be great.
At DragCon 2022, I saw a lot of Filipino people come up to you and say thank you for what you do for the Filipino community. And I also saw a lot of young people that were very inspired by you. And I haven't seen this besides for mega superstars, but little girls and boys coming up and start crying because they're so honored to meet you. What would you say to a young person that is, you know, thinking about doing drag? And
well, the reason why they're crying is because I forgot to wear deodorant that day, and it's the smell just makes your eyes water. No, actually, no. A lot of people like come up to me and they start like getting all like teary eyed and emotional, and I get it.
You are an inspiration.
You're gorgeous.
I have inspirations that I'm afraid to meet some, like, you know, maybe because like I've gained popularity in my career that I might like run into a celebrity. But there are certain celebrities I just honestly don't want to meet because I'm too afraid of like me saying something stupid. Like if I met Madonna, I think actually I don't want to meet Madonna because first of all, she's a Leo, and also she's a diva, and I just know that when I meet her, she's going to be a total bitch.
Yeah.
And like they say, never meet your heroes. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take you up on that. But I also like I don't know what to react because I'll if I met Madonna, I'd be like, okay, I'm cool. I don't like whatever. But I also like want to cry and be like, oh my gosh, I love you so much. You helped me through like these like difficult times, and like you helped me learn how to express myself. Express yourself.
And I think that's what a lot of the younger, even 10, 11-year-olds were saying, is that you were inspirational and you helped them through, especially through the pandemic. I mean, RuPaul's Drag Race was what everybody was watching to get us through.
Oh yeah, that was actually really cool. It definitely like found a spike in popularity when during the pandemic, when everyone was like, and all production of any kind of media disappeared because they had to shut down the studios and movies were like delayed and stuff like that. So everyone had to kind of like be like, what didn't I watch? I was like, well, I haven't gotten into Game of Thrones and I haven't gotten into Drag Race and I haven't gotten to. So yeah, it actually works out great. I love the fact that you can watch the show. Like people start on season 10. They're like, oh, I'm going to start the new season. And they're like, you know what? I need to start from the beginning. Why not?
Yeah.
And there are 1,000 seasons to watch, so there's plenty of time to watch them.
Exactly. So yeah, it does, especially these days, because like, if you're going to be binging all the seasons all at once, like it does definitely mean something. The fact that you remember who I am, because like I barely even remember. I remember thinking like, RuPaul would mess up our names, like after our season was over, and it'd be, I was like, that was such an important part of my life. And like I was assuming that was an important part of your life too. But like for RuPaul, she didn't fucking care. But because like she was on to the next cast of queens, right? So, but now I totally get it. I'm like, ooh. I know you. And they're like, yeah, girl, we're on Drag Race. We're Drag Race sisters. Yeah. And I'm like, you're from season...
There's so many seasons in so many different countries now that it has exploded.
But it's great. I love that. It's so cool that drag is becoming so popular because there was so few things for drag. And a lot of times drag was provided to us for the mainstream, at least, through the lens of straight people, what they thought drag queens were. Like I remember watching Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything.
Yes.
And I even as a kid, because my mom, she's an enabler. She took me to go see it in the theaters. I remember even as a kid being like, well, they wouldn't be dressed up in drag driving in a car. That just seems
hot. Dangerous.
Uncomfortable.
That would seem uncomfortable with your wig flopping around and getting stuck in your lip gloss like while you're driving in a convertible. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like put on some sweatpants and when you get to the gig, you put the makeup on.
Yeah. Why you think we show up to places with smear of makeup and ruined hair?
Because you were in.
We have to drive.
Because you were in your convertible driving across the country, like in Tu Wong Fu.
Yeah, and it was Patrick Swayze and Wesley.
Yeah.
And very masculine guys that were doing drag, and that's what people thought of drag as kind of these dudes. But I think drag queens definitely take the art of portraying a woman seriously.
Oh yeah, and I honestly but I get it because like looking back and watching like the movie like Tu Wong Fu, I actually realized like how much effort that those straight actors put into getting into the role, because like watching it, I'm like, yes, they actually have all of the mannerisms there. Like they might not be the most beautiful or unclockable drag queens, like you might, like when at the very end when he's like when Patrick Swayze goes to what's her face and he's like, oh, I just want to tell you that I'm not a real woman. And she's like, no. You're an angel. Oh, she said, Adam's apple. Women don't have Adam's apples.
Oh my, I get that all the time.
I love it though.
Like, yeah, that's your giveaway.
Big.
Oh, if you ever do transition, you need to have it removed.
No, you just have to wear a turtleneck or a choker. Yeah.
But that'll cover too much of my outfit, girl.
No, just, you know what, actually, like at this point, I think with drag changing and being so much more acceptable and not just being about like, are you passable as like a woman or are you just some rhinestoned glittery showgirl? Like all kinds of drag are valid now, and that's what I like. Like you're creating your own subgenres of drag. Like you can have like a camp queen. Now you have like tea queen. You can have
A
like
bearded queen.
a bearded queen. You can have
Why is everyone looking at me?
yeah, I think that yeah, but what I was saying, like looking back at like Tu Wong Fu, like they really did have like they did a pretty good job. I'm not gonna knock them for not trying, but it's also like a campy movie, so like, you know, it's okay. But I don't remember what
I think it's time to take a break.
Why not? Is it coffee time?
It might be coffee time.
it's tea time, tea queens.
My name is Daniel, and I am the Chief Jefe Officer of Good Juju Coffee. We are based out of LA, but our coffee is sourced from my grandparents' farm in Nayarit, Mexico. Check us out online at goodjujucoffee.com and order a bag today. Use code TQueen and receive 50% off your entire order. Every bag of coffee is delivered directly to you from our farm to your table.
What do you think your type of drag is doing for the world today as opposed to, I guess, that drag that you saw?
Well, I was saying, like just right now, like there's so many more facets of drag, and like there isn't just one thing. Because I remember growing up, and I loved drag queens or just any kind of thing, anything that had to do with cross dressers. Like honestly, like, you know, my drag hero is Mrs. Doubtfire.
That's true.
Because that's like what we got.
Yeah.
You know, like my drag heroes are Bugs Bunny, when Bugs Bunny would wear a dress and seduce Elmer Fudd.
Yes.
My drag heroes are like the Was She Born a Man or a Woman from the Maury Povich show, which I was like I used to watch Maury Povich, and those were my favorite episodes. The episodes where they'd bring on the trans women and the cross dressers, and they were all, and you would have the whole audience screaming and pointing at them. That's a man! That's a man! But like honestly, like that was the only form of drag that like was available that was actually telling something that was like truthful and like showing people living their real lives, as opposed to like straight actors playing a role, or just, you know, a straight person putting on a dress to, you know, make people laugh. Like, oh, look at me, I'm a woman.
Yeah.
Well, even
Like
the
a
transformation of the first season of RuPaul's Drag Race to now, where you know there's performers, there's people that are really like incredibly talented. Not that the first season wasn't, but the transformation of who is into drag now is completely different, and how it's accepted is amazing.
Yeah, the drag community has changed the perspective of people, and it has like become such a powerful movement right now too, with the show, with people wanting to do now whatever they feel like they want to do.
Yeah, and I think that we're living in a time and an era where people really want to be able to express themselves authentically,
Right.
and express themselves extremely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like now there's so much that you have to kind of like stand out some way, and how you dress and present yourself in the world, and how you live your day that day has a strong connection with what we do as drag artists, because, you know, one of the reasons why I love dressing in women's clothes is just that women have better clothes.
They do.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm wearing jeans and a sweater right now, and I feel like I'm sitting next to these three gorgeous. You're wearing
stop it.
thigh-high rhinestone boots. You're wearing like a
Be
rhinestone
honest.
choker.
Oh, okay,
You're
yeah.
wearing the bustier with the encrusted bustier and like a tutu. Like, so it's like I'm wearing like jeans, stretch jeans at that.
Oh yeah, men's
Women-
fashion is so boring. It's so boring.
Yeah,
It
and
is.
now I feel like it's just great. You go out in West Hollywood and you see some of these like younger gay guys, and they're wearing crop tops, and you know, they're wearing jewelry, and they're wearing makeup, and they have their hair done. They're wearing wigs when they want to. They're wearing
Nail
pieces.
polish.
They have their nails fully done. They live their
Yeah.
lives in full nails.
Yeah.
Like they're pumping around in heels, and I love that.
I
Like
know.
it's so
Yeah.
cool to think that, like, you know, when they're doing a period piece of this era in time, you're gonna see, like, you know, people I don't know, like when you watch like a movie like that's, you know, they're wearing powdered wigs and, like, you know, they're all Elizabethan or Renaissance.
Crown.
Like, yeah, the crown. You're like, wow, these costumes are fierce. And you know, real life, like, people didn't wear a full powdered wig every single day. Like, you know,
To go fetch the milk.
yeah, exactly. you know that, you know, the woman didn't have, like, every single, like, scene she's wearing a different gown. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so, but when they do a period movie of this time, like, there are just gonna be men wearing crop tops
And shake
like,
and go wigs.
and little shake, like they're having their nails done, and that's just gonna be this period in time of fashion, and it's gonna be about expression. I mean, hopefully it doesn't swing back to, like,
Nope.
boring t-shirt.
Yeah,
jeans.
do you
We will
think
make
it's
that
a-
happen.
Do you think it's a trend, or do you think that we're going through a revolutionary change in the way that men, women dress, and all of the in between?
Oh, both. It's definitely both. It's definitely a trend because it's so hot right now. I want to go on Shein right now and buy everything.
Yes.
Even if it doesn't fit or not, or even if it's killing the environment. But yeah, I think it's going to be definitely changing. Like, and like I said, like, you're going to be watching movies and you're going to see, like, a guy dressed like Harry Styles because
Yeah.
they're going to be like, that's like one of the references we had. Men wore glitter pantsuits and feather boas, like and they just walked around like that, I guess.
Yeah.
You
There you
know?
go.
Yeah.
So
Good
maybe
for us.
maybe when we're old and we see, like, these kids and they're doing a 2020s party, you know, like,
Oh, no.
imagine, like, if
Yeah.
you're doing like if you back in the day when you said you were going to do like a 1920s themed party, everyone's wearing
Oh my
like
gosh.
fringy dresses, flapper headbands with the feather, right?
Mhm.
In
2020
like,
parties.
2020
Now I'm
parties, people
Well,
are gonna be
everybody will
Fair.
be dressed like Manila Luzon and all the drag queens for sure.
in
Everyone
full
in
drag.
Yeah.
pineapple dresses.
Well, that was the 2010s, but, like, we'll let that slide because, you know,
Ouch.
some people
you
aren't.
got a fashion ticket.
Yeah, some people aren't, you know, didn't do fashion history. So
I didn't do my homework. So, what would you tell right now to the new generation, the 20-year-old gay boy that sees themselves wanting to be a drag queen? What advice will you give these kids?
I have no idea what I would advise to them because I feel like
To
I'm
buy
so much older that I can't even relate to, like, what they are. They're like, they're gonna be just like fully living their lives virtually in the metaverse on Facebook. Like, by the time they don't give
TikTok.
a shit. I guess, but I will give advice to people our age.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because, like, I am noticing as the older I get, the more I'm set in my ways. Like,
Yeah.
I am thinking, like, oh my gosh, I just want to remind myself and other people that as we get older and as we think that we had figured it out, like, we don't, because like what we figured out is going to be refigured out by younger people. And I just want to make sure that, like, for me and my generation, our generation, like, we're ready for it to change. And for us not to get too settled into our ways, because I am so scared of being that old man in my wig, my purple wig, shaking my cane at these young kids, being like, "You call that a crop top? You call that a crop top? Well, that's not how you wear a crop top."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that I'm hoping that when these new kids are, like, changing, like, the genders or changing the way we do drag or changing the way we express ourselves, I hope that we all can kind of, like, fall into. I mean, maybe it might not be age appropriate, but I don't give a shit. I'll be like Madonna, like, just doing age inappropriate things. Like, I just want to be hip with the kids, and I like the fact that we're changing so fast, and, like, you know, we have to catch up.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you're humble about it, but thank you for being an inspiration to young people and people our age, and and doing what you do and representing, people that just want to be creative and do drag and dress up as a girl and perform and be happy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here today. Thank you for taking your time, and we will see you around.
Yeah, you can see me on Drag Den on Prime Video.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the show, it's amazing. Go watch it right now.
Yes. And thank you for this charcuterie board.
You're welcome.
We can have a whole podcast of just how to pronounce
How to
this.
pronounce.
Does anyone know how to pronounce this?
Oh, don't even ask me.
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie. No, charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
I'm not going to take pronunciation lessons
from Esmeralda.
We need a whole episode on that. That would be the best.
Esmeralda Stone. Well, thank you, Manila.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. See you next
Bye.
time.
Welcome to my drag den, oh oh. Put your high heels on and step into the light. Like your mama showed you.